Hello, my name's Ian Seeger from Pilot Career News. On the 6th and 7th of November, we held our very first virtual edition of Pilot Careers Live. We streamed over 30 different seminars with 60 speakers. There were 2 days packed full of great information. Of course, we recorded everything, and you're about to watch one of the videos from the event. Before you do, I just want to thank our sponsors, Bose, Alsim, Entro, and of course Pulis. Without them and without the exhibitors, it wouldn't be possible. The exhibitor pages are still live, so feel free to head on over there. Go to www.pilotcareerslive.com and click through to the exhibitors. There's loads of information, loads of downloads, all sorts of great stuff there for you. Anyway, enjoy the video, and if you find it useful, really appreciate it if you click subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello again, welcome back everybody. We've managed to regather our guests this morning, obviously not David Morgan because that was a previously recorded interview, but we have back with us the panel members from the cadet and graduate panel earlier on choosing their training route, and also John Strickland from the interview just carried out with Ian. So we've got a great number of questions that have come through here, guys. We'll see how many we can bash through in this session if we can, and I'm just going to run through them in order because otherwise I'll get totally confused as to where we are. So I've got a question here from they haven't actually given their name. Should I be optimistic or worried? Aviation is a childhood dream. And I'm going to go to, there we go, Adam, thanks.
Thanks. I don't think there should be any optimism at all. When it comes to this, I mean, anybody looking to start now, if you're on an integrated program, you're looking at 18 months before you're said and done and finished. Now, with terms of obviously me being on the Ryanair mentored program here, the outlook for Ryanair themselves is huge. Like, I mean, their order of 200 MAX aircraft that they're currently awaiting. Plus, like they publicly came out and said that we're going to be ordering a bunch more aircraft from Boeing as well. So I mean, they can see the potential here, and they're in a very strong position to get out and like come out of this fighting and come out of this even stronger than they went in. So I don't think there should be any optimism at all in looking at starting a career and get your training going, and in 2 years' time you'll be out and be in the right hand seat, hopefully, of an aircraft.
So you're saying you don't think there should be any optimism? Do you mean pessimism, or do you think there's every reason to be optimistic?
No, I don't think. I think like jump into it now and get going. I don't see why you shouldn't, follow your dream and, jump into it 2 feet and get going with it. Now is probably the best time for, like, obviously myself coming out here probably within a month or two. We've had great talks with Ryanair that we have the guaranteed assessment at the end of this. Once we're finished on passing the assessment, we're going to be sitting there waiting for, a job when things like if we get the vaccine or when the travel restrictions are relaxed a little bit better, and everyone's still going to want to go on holidays. The need for pilots is going to be huge here. I can see within a couple of years' time, when everything's like all the aircraft are there in Ryanair's hands, they're going to need a huge amount of pilots. So I think, jump into it right now and get going. Now is the best time.
Thanks, Adam. Anybody else want to comment on that? Jack, I think probably after you, I'll maybe come over to you, John, if you wouldn't mind to follow up on that one. So, Jack.
For me, I think you look at the situation. Anybody who's looking at getting into aviation, and I imagine everyone on this panel will agree that if you look at aviation as a market, there's always peaks and troughs when it comes to jobs. Look, there was the oil crisis. What happened with 9/11? You have the financial crash, and we now have this. Who's to say if COVID didn't happen, then there might be something else? It's something that when looking at the industry, when there's any form of recession, aviation's the first thing that gets hit first. So I think it's almost to be expected. Hey, something else might happen in 10 years' time, and there could be another dip. For me personally, I made the active decision to become a pilot. This is what I wanted to do. And I think if this is really what you want to do and you're really serious about it and you accept that this is the way aviation is and that this will happen again, there will be something else in 10 years' time that will cause a dip, and you might be out of a job. If you accept that this is the way aviation is and it is still something you want to do, then there's no reason to pursue, not to pursue the career.
Thank you.
I have no worries whatsoever.
Before
Jack.
John jumps in, I'm just going to make a quick statement, because it's a question that's come up an awful lot of times, and the real challenge that there is with aviation is when you decide that you want to become a pilot, you jump on a conveyor belt, and that conveyor belt is going to drop you out the other end, somewhere between, at the quickest 2 years, and at the longest you can spread it out to maybe 5+ years. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to predict the job market in somewhere between 2 and 5 years, and that's an incredibly difficult thing to do. And the chance, it's not quite. I don't know, maybe it's harder than roulette. I don't know. It's pretty much, there are no guarantees to whether there's going to be a buoyant job market in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
And it's a really, it's just a really tough decision to take, and there are no guarantees that come with it.
No.
Whenever you jump in, either way.
And I think the point that we have the cyclical life, the cyclical way that the industry has gone. There's always something. We have our peaks, we have our troughs. There's no way you can judge when they're going to come. John, when I come to you, would you mind adding into it? Because one of the questions that's come in is, when do we expect a recovery? You may well have just covered that in your interview, but if you could briefly build that into your answer as well, that'd be fab.
Yeah, Tony, we'd cover that. And I think it's a minimum 5 years. There's so much decimation and destruction going on right now in the industry. It's going to take a long time. But individual airlines, as Adam was saying, for example, I referred in the previous interview to Ryanair's order book, or Wizz. There's going to be areas of brightness and opportunity where strong players are going to take them. If I think about my own career, I was also passionate to get into aviation. I didn't turn out to do so in the pilot track. But when I came on the job market, I just had to take whatever job came along. I was lucky I got the first basic job in telesales. I had the ambition to be a graduate trainee for BA when I joined the industry. That never happened. But that start job, I learned such a lot doing it. And I would say over the years that I've worked, maybe the best opportunities for me have come from adversity. So I think also, as Jack was saying, if you've got a passion for this, what better than to work in something you are really passionate about? Not everybody gets an opportunity. My dad, when he was alive, used to say, son, you're doing something you enjoy. So when you're kind of moaning about it, remember, some people never get to do something they enjoy. So right now, it could be quite a long wait, a nerve-wracking time, but we have had these tips before. This is certainly the worst I've seen. But if you're prepared to be humble and realistic and use and generate as much resilience as you can in whatever you do, whatever ordinary job, but keep the learning. I would say keep reading about this industry. The more you understand it, the better. There's plenty of articles and stuff online, plenty of stuff on social media to understand what's going on. Keep track of it and keep yourself as financially sound as you can, and be ready for an opportunity when it comes.
Brilliant. Some great inputs from both of you, all three of you there. So thank you very much indeed. I'm going to move off that subject for the moment because, as I say, we've got lots of questions here. So another question that's come in from Cam: how are current students dealing with changes due to Brexit? Are they going for a European licence or other route? So thank you, Max.
I think the Brexit is another thing which is being added petrol to the fire at the moment in terms of more uncertainty around what we're doing. Leading edge, we're going for a UK license. There is options for an EU license as well. However, it's a bit off a mixed field in terms of we don't know what the situation is going to be after January. So at the moment, we're being told stick with the UK license, and if there is anything that materially changes between now and January, if we get a deal, if we don't get a deal, but it puts flight schools in a tricky situation because there is simply no resolute understanding of what's going to happen. So yeah, we're going for a UK license at the moment. We've been advised that that's potentially the better route, but who knows? Is my input on that.
Thank you, Max. Jack's just put his hand up. So, Jack.
Yeah, I'm sure Adam will agree with me that being over here in Ireland, getting the IAA license, that's just removed almost that uncertainty for us. We're guaranteed the EASA license with the IAA, and the whole uncertainty surrounding Brexit, especially in the situation at the minute with coronavirus, it's removed just that stress and that worry that we are getting a license that's widely accepted. Now, what that means for me going back to the UK after this course to fly, I'm not too sure. I know it was touched on yesterday. A member from the CAA was here, and that's something I'll look back into great more detail. But I think with the uncertainty surrounding everything that's going on at the minute, I think there's nothing but positives to get that EASA license. And then if the option is there to convert, you can always convert.
Yeah. Thanks, Jack, there for the link back to yesterday. So we had Glenn Bradley, the Director of Flight Operations from the CAA, with us yesterday. So worth going back and watching what he had to say to see if there's any further information. And there are other ATOs who've got the IAA approval as well. So again, look around if that feels more comfortable to you. Again, it's about your personal choice. But yeah, thanks very much, guys, for that input. So I have a question here from Jagath. I'm a 42-year-old and have been interested in commercial pilot career from a young age. Will my age be an issue in securing a career as a commercial airline pilot? And what would be the best route for me, taking the current situation in mind? Who would like to answer that one?
I'll have a go at partially answering it.
Ian, thank you.
So, and it's not going to be an answer that Jagath wants, really, because what would be the best route for me? And that's an impossible question for anyone else to answer. Jagath, you need to, I'm sorry to say it, but you need to gather the data and answer that question. We just don't know what your situation is. We don't know if you're sitting on a mortgage-free pad worth 5 million and another 10 million in the bank, in which case do whatever you like, fill your boots, or whether you're sitting at the other end of the economic spectrum to that, in which case you need to plan for the undoubted uncertainty that there will be. There are plenty of career changers who are career changing, and there is no impediment to that. But again, it's a question of what you're trying to do is put yourself in the mind of the airline. What the airline recruitment needs going to be at 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years hence. And airlines are, I don't think there's anyone from an airline here at the moment. Airlines are pretty ruthless when it comes to that kind of thing. If airlines are absolutely desperate for pilots, as long as you've got one leg, a medical and a license, they'll hire you. If they're not desperate for pilots and you've got 30,000 hours and you've been in there a whole lifetime worth of experience, they might still say you're not good enough. That's kind of two extremes, I'm afraid, but airlines are a bit like that.
Yeah. Thank you. Sadly, we've run out of time and we've got so many more questions. So throughout the day, we'll do our best to answer all of those. But thank you very much, all of you, for your inputs. They've been fantastic. I will look forward to watching John's interview back online later. And if anybody missed the panel discussion or John's interview, do watch it back online later. We're going to just go over to a little advert now. And just a reminder, we've got some great sponsors. So thank you to them. And also pop off and have a chat to the ATOs who are here virtually exhibiting today as well. And we'll be back after the advert with a chat about gliding. Thank you
Thanks very much, everybody.